Red Sox infield prospect Christian Koss was last year's Portland Sea Dogs Offensive Player of the Year and is looking to make some noise in 2023.
You are Locked On Red Sox, your daily Boston Red Sox podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
I want to welcome you back into Locked On Red Sox podcast, and thank you so much for making Locked On Red Sox your first listen of every single day. I am your host, Jake Ignaszewski, and today we were joined by Red Sox prospect infielder Christian Koss. You might remember him from last year's spring training walk-off that helped get him featured on MLB's Instagram, but he was also last year's Portland Sea Dogs Offensive Player of the Year and is one of the most promising infield prospects that the Red Sox have in their system. But we had the opportunity to speak with Christian today a little bit about what his experience was like in Puerto Rican winter ball, his relationships with David Hamilton and Alex Binelas, and much, much more. Let's listen in to Christian and I's conversation now. We are here with Red Sox prospect infielder Christian Koss. He just came back from Puerto Rico winter ball. So how are we doing, Christian?
Great. Thanks for having me on here.
Absolutely, man. So did you get a little bit tan in PR? Or?
Oh, dude, it rained a lot. I thought Florida was bad, but no, it rained a lot out there. And a lot of the locals said that it wasn't accustomed to it. They said it rains, but not as much. But man, I caught the rain season, I guess.
So how did you enjoy winter ball, and was there anything that you were really working on while you were down there?
Yeah, so it was fun. Like the atmosphere out there is different. It's loud. It's the fans are really into it. I think going out there, it was more plate discipline stuff. Trying to get more zoned up to my stuff. The velo was a little down in that league than what I was thinking it was going to be. The relievers came in chucking it, but the starters were sitting like 86 to 89.
Wow.
And being in the league that I was just in, most starters were 3 to 5 kind of thing. So,
right.
I thought I was going to see more velo, but that came with its own challenges. Spitting on certain off speed and spitting on certain pitches that, I just couldn't drive. So
makes sense. And now the last time we talked going into the 2022 season, you mentioned that the main thing that you were focusing on was your load and your timing. And so
yeah,
how did you really work on that, not only throughout 2022, maybe this offseason? How did maybe PR sort of help maybe with the slower pitching?
Yeah. So, and it's funny because about midway through the season, Coach brought up the Miggy clip about him having different stances approaching different pitchers. And, I kind of try to grow that kind of feel of it, of like how much I can dictate my leg kick and how, certain guys got to be quicker when they're in the stretch versus when they're in the windup. So not only was it working on the load and the timing of it, but it was like the variations, right, on a quick pitch guy versus a guy you had more time with. So yeah, it was just, tweaking with that, trying different spots, I'm still trying to find a comfortable spot for my hands. I was up, I was away, I was on my shoulder. So yeah, that comes with it, but just grinding through it every day.
And how do you mentally not allow sort of those tweaks or those changes in your stance, like dictate sort of your approach to the plate? Because when we spoke to Alex Binelas earlier this offseason, he mentioned that he had a whole different swing change, and he was trying to figure that out in the middle of the season. It was a little bit of a struggle, but then he got on a stride once he was able to get comfortable with it. But for yourself, how have you been able to overcome that stuff?
I think it's like you said, knowing that the struggle is going to happen, like you're doing something new, so you're not going to be able just to pick it up and start flicking balls. You're going to have to go through that trial period and that failure to really come through it. And like you said with Binelas, like the more you grind through it, like through time, like if you're consistent with it, it clicks, and then the numbers show.
How did your guys' relationship grow throughout the season? Because when I saw both of you guys play. I saw you guys play in New Hampshire and also in Portland. You were playing shortstop and he was playing third base when you guys were in New Hampshire. And then he was playing first and you were at second in Portland. And so you guys were essentially next to each other majority of the time throughout the season.
Yeah, no, he's a great guy. I think one of the big things about him is like his eagerness to learn. You know, he's a hitter. We had Cavadas, who was a great hitter on that team too. You know, I feel like that we just had a good enough team and connection where everyone was trying to pick stuff off each other. You know, what one person does really good, the other person doesn't. So it's, you know, picking those spots where you could help each other out. But like him, I felt like we got a bigger connection on the defensive end, especially like I was like mixing those games in at third. So like kind of picking each other's brains on third and footwork and stuff like that. And like towards the end of the season, he started playing a really good third base. And I think it's just going to continue to get better.
One thing that I noticed that both of you guys do, and I saw Dustin Pedroia do it when he was playing, and I actually started to do it a little bit when I played second base in high school. But when the pitch is going, or when the pitcher, you know, is starting up his windup, you do a little bit of a jump, getting ready for the ball to potentially come to you. When did you start doing that? Because I think I sent you this picture. I got a picture of both you and Binelas jumping at the same exact time.
Yeah. So I want to say it was like my freshman year. It's called pre-pitch, but it was introduced to me as a tennis hop because that's how tennis serve. Like it's, you know, and that's the way it goes now. Fielding, you know, you just got to be off the ground. So when the ball's in play, the second you're on the ground, you're making your quick action move. And like it's a timing thing, just like with hitting. You know, you jump too early and you're back on the ground. Now you're sitting there waiting to make a move. But if you jump too late, now you're not gonna be able to get to the ball. So I mean, throughout college and everything, like it goes with hitting about just when to time because different pitchers take different speeds, and you know, double plays are different than runners on third. So, but yeah, it's definitely something that plays a part into good defense.
That makes sense. And, you know, another guy who, you know, coincidentally enough, came along to the Red Sox with Alex Binelas and David Hamilton. When I went to Portland, I saw you guys have a little bit of a meeting, you know, in the center of the infield, sort of prior to the game. It seemed like you were pumping him up, getting him hyped up prior to the game. But talk about your guys' relationship and how it really evolved throughout the season.
Yeah, well, me and him had played together before on the YD Red Sox, the Cape Cod League in summer. So we had some time together there. We became really good friends there. So when he had gotten traded over, I mean, I remember being excited about him coming. And yeah, so we were roommates the whole season on the road and everything. His apartment wasn't too far from mine. Yeah, we were just good friends. So on the field, you know, it was easy. I think he struggled a little more than he would have liked. And, you know, I think that probably was a time where I was just telling him that, you know, he's the dog he is. And the way he was able to turn it on that last month was incredible.
Yeah, I mean, the whole Portland team seemed to have a completely different energy. You know, you brought up Nico Cavadas. He seemed to bring a whole new energy to that team in the later half. Ceddanne Rafaela as well over there in center field. And you also got to play with him a little bit in PR. But what makes him so good?
Dude, he's just a freak athlete. You know, you see his size and you think that, you know, what can he really do? But I mean, he's so twitchy. He's got a really plus speed tool, but he has the power in him. Like for his size, I mean, I know it's thrown around like the Mookie Betts, but yeah, he's the Mookie 2.0. Just the actions and the mannerisms of each other. You know, he's only going to get better too. That's the crazy thing is that short stint he came up in Double-A, that last half to play, like he did amazing things that, you know, he's only going to continue to do more of.
What was your first reaction when he made one of his first like robbing catches or diving catches last season?
It's always a jaw dropper. A lot of the times it's hands in the air. A lot of times it's me and David looking at each other and like, yeah, dude. But it's funny though. You like talk about Binelas and Cavadas coming up with him. Like we'd get in the dugout, and he's like, "Yeah, he did that 3 times in Greenville already." And it's like, dude, that's looked like a 1 in a million play, and you're telling me he's pulling it off. Like,
Yeah. And it's crazy to think that this was his first year in outfield. I really don't get it. Like, I don't at all.
yeah,
I hope that you are enjoying my conversation with Christian Koss, but I just want to take a second to talk to you about FanDuel. The NFL playoffs are here, and we are really excited about our new sports betting partner for Locked On because they are the #1 sports book in America, FanDuel. If you're new to FanDuel, that's even better. They have so many great features that make betting on sports fun and easy. New customers join today to get started with $150 in free bets guaranteed when you place your first $5 bet. Just sign up at fanduel.com/locked on. FanDuel has all your favorite bets from money line to point spreads to player props. Plus, you can even combine your bets for a chance at a bigger payout with same game parlay. It's all on the app that's safe, secure, and super easy. And some bets that you can place this weekend is on the NFL championship games with the Chiefs against the Bengals, the 49ers against the Eagles. Maybe Joe Burrow can lead the Bengals to back-to-back Super Bowls. Who knows? Maybe Brock Purdy can find a way to continue this unbelievable stretch that he's having with the 49ers. But you can go over to FanDuel and bet. But football fans, don't miss out because you can place your first $5 bet to get $150 in free bets, win or lose at fanduel.com/locked on. Make every moment more with FanDuel. It's the official sports partner of the NFL. Now let's get back into my conversation with Christian. And there was also a video when Trevor Story was down for a rehab assignment, and Ceddanne made one of those plays. And as you mentioned, David was like, "Yeah, he does this all the time." But having somebody like Trevor Story come down, also somebody who plays very similar positions as you do, were you able to take anything or any advice from him being down there?
yeah. Him. Kiké was down there for a little bit. Arroyo. They all came down and had their different knowledge. All of them gave their hitting advice in the pitchers meetings, when we're going over reports, and all of them had different ways to attack pitchers in similar aspects, So I think it was being able to nitpick that. And then also, like you said, in the infield, they were all open and willing to talk, like whatever things you brought up to them. But yeah, I think it was just they made it feel like their door was open in a way. It wasn't like we were going up to them in the clubhouse or anything, but especially like during BP and during games and stuff, there was a lot of good chatter coming from them. And yeah, was able to learn a lot from all of them.
And something that came to mind that's similar to you, Arroyo and Kiké, and I remember you mentioning in the last time we spoke that you and Arroyo got to talk a little bit during spring training of last year. But you guys are all utility guys. The ability to play multiple positions in the infield. So did they really give you any advice on how to stay consistently good, not only in the field and stay fresh when you're moving all over the diamond, or have you already come accustomed to that?
Yeah, well, I mean, their advice was just taking ground balls everywhere, which was something I usually did for the most part. Okay, just like depending on where I was starting that day, but they were more brought in the aspect of it doesn't matter where you're playing, get everything in because at that given moment someone can get hurt. Now you have to play third, and you're going to feel dumb if you didn't practice at third that day at a new field,
Right.
So I think that, like you said, that utility mindset of the work you're putting in, you got to put in more because you're now trying to play multiple positions, and especially getting those couple games in the outfield. That like now that's even another aspect where it's got to be more reps during that time.
How was that whole experience? Learning to get comfortable in the outfield. Arroyo had to deal with that a little bit playing right field, and so how was that getting accustomed to?
Yeah, center was definitely the easiest. I didn't play the corner until I went to Puerto Rico, and yeah, center was just more get to that ball and catch it. I felt like I haven't had enough throwing plays to like really know but the more reps you get in, the more game time like those plays come. But yeah, it really wasn't that hard to me. I feel like the fly ball, I have the speed, and the way on defense in the infield that I can read a swing, I feel correlates to the outfield, so it helps with those initial jumps.
Makes sense. And I bet if I asked you, where would be your ideal place, you would say any place that would get me in the big leagues. But like, let's say if Alex Cora came up to you, said, you're on the Red Sox, where do you want to play? Where do you feel most comfortable?
Yeah, I've always felt shortstop just because of the leadership aspect I can bring of it. Not that I don't think I'm a good shortstop or anything, but it's not the super arm or the super crazy glove, but just the ability to control a game and be in the right spot and being able to calm a pitcher down and stuff like that. Like, feel like when you're at short, that stuff means a lot more. Not saying when I'm playing third in any positions like that
Right.
doesn't come out, but at short, that's what I mean. Dude, I was a catcher until high school, so I feel like a catcher, that's where you got it the most. They haven't made me the super utility yet, but no, I've always felt like short and catcher is where the persona plays more, and yeah, that's just what I would go with.
Hey, I mean, if you can figure out catching, maybe also kind of like Brock Holt was able to do, they can put you on the mound as well. But you brought up that leadership aspect, and there's a lot of guys on this Portland team that came from Greenville that are still very young. We brought up Cavadas, we brought up Rafaela as well. How do you try to use your experiences in Double-A and in the minors so far to help those younger guys coming up through the system?
Yeah, I think so. Well, the two aspects you have is on field, off field. Both those guys are great people off field, right? There's no issue. There's nothing like to worry about there. So I think a lot of it is the on field maturity. And for both of them, I think it's just when you're going through the struggles, right? It happens through a long season, especially when you're playing a full season. And then you get to the bigs and now you're playing 162.
Right.
That knowing when those struggles happen, like, how to handle it versus letting emotions get a little too in front to where it takes you down a little further. Rafi definitely got better throughout the season with it, but he's a high emotional guy. Whether it's a safe call out, a ball strike, he's high intensity and stuff, but it's just controlling that aspect when you're on a spiral to not let it take you out of your game.
That makes sense. And I think that's so key. We've talked about it a little bit, but the thing that I'm most fascinated about is guys' mental game, and especially overcoming that adversity or those struggles. But like for yourself, when you have some of those stretches where you're struggling, do you have any sort of routines mentally that really help you not get in your head or help you get out of it?
No, I think a lot of it's just going back to the work, right? So the cage work you're getting in, it's kind of like fine tuning that more. It could be a focus thing. It could, but I think a lot of it is like we talk about is just grinding it out, knowing that every day you show up to the ballpark, you put in your work, you get into the game, you grind out your at bat. And if you're still a part of that slump, it's knowing that tomorrow you're going to get another at bat and you're going to get to go at it there. I think when you start getting into the lingering of what happened the past 2 games or the past 3 games, then it starts to pile on. I make jokes all the time about when we're facing pitchers and they're like, oh, you remember him? And I'm like, I don't, because I try to take each at bat for what it is. Right. And then you face enough guys like, oh yeah, I remember it. But for me, it's about, what does he have? What do we got? And then how am I going to attack what's in front of me?
Makes sense. And especially going into this past off season, it was pretty incredible to see what you were able to do on the field. You were able to win the Offensive Player of the Year for the Sea Dogs, and was curious, reflecting on it throughout this off season, what do you think really made you so successful at the plate?
I felt like my lows weren't too low and my highs weren't too high. I had like a steady consistency. I felt I didn't start as good as I wanted to, but there were a lot of people that were doing worse than me, like struggling more than I was struggling. So, I was able to keep a little more confidence than they were. And so when I had a good stretch, it's just trying to build all off that. My worst stretch was the last 2 weeks of the season before playoffs. And then I went to playoffs and had a good little groove. So, like I said, it's just how long can you ride the middle line and stay consistent? And I just felt like I was able to do that throughout my struggles and the successes.
I think one other thing that you missed too, I think you had the right cereal as well. I remember you said before that's the key.
Yeah, they did have good honey bunches of oats in our clubhouse. So
And then also, I remember you also. This was the first person I heard say this, and it's the only baseball player that I know that does this outside of Mookie Betts. Have you been bowling at all lately?
oh yeah, yeah. Not as much as I like to be, but just came back from a bachelor party in Vegas, and we found a bowling alley out there. So
What place did you come in?
Oh, first. Yeah, I took it. We played 3 games. One of the guys got me in the last game, but no, I ran it up. Michael Harris is good. I talked to him when he was in Rome. I was in Greenville. He was a good guy. I was able to really get to know him, and I saw that he was bowling recently. So I messaged him like, "Hey, we need to get on the lanes." And he said, "Whenever you're ready." But he's up there, so I got to wait until I
That's
get to
awesome.
Atlanta to get against him.
Now, what do you think of the people that put up the gutters?
Yeah, that's too much. You're older than 8. You gotta be you gotta just struggle, right? You can't be coddled the whole time. You gotta learn how to get it down there.
I love it. That's hysterical. Well, last year was this focus on loading and timing. What was this offseason's focus?
I think it's still the timing. I feel like that's always gonna be the thing you're trying to search for. But like I said, it's finding the comfortable spot for my hands to fire along with that timing. I'm feeling more and more comfortable with my lower half every day. But yeah, it's just getting stronger and just trying to find that happy medium in the stance where everything can fire.
That makes sense. And I wanted to make sure to bring this up before we finish this, but how are you feeling about almost becoming a dad?
Dude, I'm excited. Yeah. I've been excited since the first time. She keeps asking, it's getting closer, like, are you nervous? And I'm like, no,
Mhm.
I'm just ready for her to be here. Yeah. So
That's awesome.
it's supposed to be in the next couple weeks. She keeps thinking it's going to be in the next couple days, but we're just just waiting for it to happen.
That's awesome. So excited for you, man, and also really
Thanks,
excited for you to kick butt once again in spring training.
man.
But lastly, like, what's sort of the mindset going into spring training, especially with last year? That's sort of really how you got your name out there with the walk-off home run and that going viral and everything, and being on MLB.com. But curious, sort of, what your mindset is going into this spring training.
Yeah, I think my goal in anything is just to stay healthy. I think, like we talked about, proving longevity is always what helps people throughout their career. But it's just going and have a good showing.
Hmm.
Even with all the moves and everything, I think if I hit good enough and play good enough defense, that my name can be in the mix to be somewhere higher than Double A. So it's really just going to be about trying to be the player I am. Put a little more into the swing, and just hope I have a good enough spring to see where it'll put me.
I love it, man. Well, you know that we'll always be rooting for you over here on Locked On Red Sox, and really appreciate always your time. And also one thing that I really want to like commend you for is like how you go about your business, not only on the field but also with the fans and everything like that. It's been cool. Anytime I brought your name up on Twitter, everybody says that you're the nicest guy. And even when I was in Portland, seeing you interact with the fans, that's something that not a lot of players that I see do. And that's one thing that I think really makes you special, man.
No, I appreciate it, dude. Like my dad I mean, that's what got me into the game,
Hmm.
was going to my first Orioles game. I had Kevin Millar and Miguel Tejada both show me a lot of love, sign my ball. And the funny thing was my dad made him call the Mr. Millar, Mr. Tejada, and that's why they approached me. And and so I always feel that way, like whenever a kid can approach me and they're please, like stuff like that, it's about them. That's the next people to come. And so they pay the money to get there, that you just got to show them love. That I think it goes a long way.
I love it. And the last thing for you, that you just popped this up in my head. What is probably your like favorite like fan interaction that like really sticks out to you?
Like me as a fan, or someone like a fan that I've had?
A fan that you've had.
Oh man, you know, I think so. I have a thing in Aberdeen and Greenville was the last one, but especially when we do like the Ronis hats or something where we can give those hats away at the end. I try to give it to a fan like in exchange for something. And so we were in Aberdeen, and it was the last game of the year, and a guy had on an orange like fedora with like it was an old school Aberdeen orange fedora, and me and my dad are orange fans. I've got an orange water bottle, kind of thing. So I told him after the game that if we could trade, and he was the kid was so excited about it, like, are you serious? And so yeah, the dad wanted to leave mid game, and he's like, no, we have to stay to.
Love it.
And he stayed there the whole time, got the hat, and yeah, my dad still has it. He wears it sometimes when we go golfing, but yeah.
That's the best, man. Well, keep being you, and keep just killing it, because it's really cool to see you do your thing. But appreciate
I
your time as
appreciate it.
always.
No, thank you, man. Thanks for having me on. Love talking to you. You guys are great in what you do.
Appreciate you. I hope that you did enjoy my conversation with Christian Koss and got to learn a little bit more about who he is as a person and what made him so successful last year with the Portland Sea Dogs. But super excited to see how he's able to flourish in spring training once again and continue to make his name known in the Red Sox farm system to hopefully find a way to get up to the majors this next season. But we greatly appreciate everybody tuning in, as always, to the Locked On Red Sox podcast and for making Locked On Red Sox your first listen every single day. Now make your second listen. Locked On MLB Prospects host Lindsey Crosby is your prospect encyclopedia, and he's going deep on the MLB stars of tomorrow. It's free and available wherever you get your podcasts. And also make sure to subscribe to Locked On Red Sox to get updated about everything that is going on about your favorite team. We're posting 3 times a week leading up to the season. We have some very exciting guests planned over these next few weeks to get you excited about the 2023 Red Sox season. So make sure to subscribe on whatever audio platform that you listen to, or over on YouTube for the video version. But you can also follow us over on Twitter. It's at LO_Red Sox. With all these interviews or episodes that we post, we try to get you involved. So before the episode, we'll make a tweet asking for responses or your opinions, and then we'll use those in each episode. We want to try and make this the most fan engaging Red Sox podcast that there is out there. So go over and follow us over there. You can also follow myself. It's at Jake Iggy, and also my co-host Lauren. It's La 3 Laws, Lauren with 4 R's. But we greatly appreciate everybody tuning in. As always, hope that you have a great weekend, and we'll end it how we always end it. Let's keep the faith, and let's go Sox. Peace.